एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः। ॐ सहना भवतु। सहनौ भुनक्तु। सह वीर्यं करवावहै। तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु। मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So today we will start from 20th verse. This is very important, you should take by heart. This is the question or inquiry on which the entire Upanishad is based. Now later on, by the end of this section, Nachiketa will come out with a much deeper and extremely knowledgeable question. That we will come later. These are the two questions of Nachiketa on which the whole Upanishad stands. I will like you to follow. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye.
Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye.
Asti ityeke nayam asti iti chaike.
Asti ityeke nayam asti iti chaike.
Etad vidyamanushishtastvayaham.
Etad vidyamanushishtastvayaham.
Varanamesha varastrutiyaha.
Varanamesha varastrutiyaha.
ये अयम प्रेते विचिकित्सा मनुष्य अस्ति इति एके. अस्तीत्येके अस्ति इति एके. अस्तीत्येके न अयम अस्ति इति च एके. नायम अस्ति इति न अयम अस्ति इति च एके. एतद् विद्याम् अनुशिष्टः त्वया अहम्. एतद् विद्याम् अनुशिष्टस्त्वया अहम्. Varanam esha varastritiyah. Once more I will chant, you follow. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye.
Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye.
Asti ityeke nayam asti iti chaike.
Asti ityeke nayam asti iti chaike.
Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham.
Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham.
Varanamesha varastrutiyaha.
Varanamesha varastrutiyaha.
Prete means after the body falls. Vichikitsa means doubt. Manushya means amongst the people. Asti iti eke. Some say that yes, there is something. When the body falls, some people say that the person is. There is something beyond the body also. Na ayam asti iti cha eke. Some others, they say that no, there is nothing. The whole body, the bhutas, they get mixed with the original bhutas. Nothing is there beyond. Etad tvaya anushishtaha aham vidyam. instructed by you, anushishtaha he has used. He has not used just tell me whether this is true or that is true. That shows his knowledge, that he had the theoretical knowledge, he wanted to know it in depth and realize the truth. So he knew that it is not that I look for the answer from Yamaraja that yes there is or yes there is not. Just with that answer we go back. It was not like that. He is saying, Tvaya anushishtaha aham etat vidyam. I would like to know the truth of this, instructed by you. Anushishtaha means following the instructions of you. That is, I am ready to follow the discipline given by you to realize. See, the sincerity of Nachiketa will find everywhere. He is not just a questioner for the question's sake. Often people ask question, before we have replied, they go to their next question. Again, before we reply, they go to the third question. And next year they come back again with the first question. It is very common. So, a sincere person would ask a question and should be ready to follow. If he understands, then he should be sincere enough to follow it. So that is shown by Nachiketa's statements, his behavior. Everywhere the seekerhood of Nachiketa is projected. Varanam esha varastritiyah. This is my third boon of the three, whatever you had promised. This is my third boon. Now in this, you can easily understand that the progression is shown. We said that earlier, from Karma Kanda to Jnana Kanda. What is the reason? When we are performing, suppose the whole religious model, I said earlier also, the whole religious model of moral code is based on threefold. It is a threefold model. What is that? It is karma, which means causality, but not just the gross causality, pratyaksha, which we see with our eyes also. There is a subtle causality also to deal with our sukshma existence, our mind, emotion, intelligence. They constitute our sukshma sharira. That means our subtle part of our personality. So there is a causality in our subtle part of the personality also. It is not only the external personality where there is a causality. When we take food, the hunger is satiated. That is an external causality. But whatever is happening in the mind, how the mind is flowing, there is a subtle causality about it. So karma theory is dealing with this gross, subtle, altogether a causal chain. That whole universe is following a causality. The second part is the Punarjanma. That is the body when it falls, the Atma goes and it takes a new birth like that. This is also a model we should understand. And the third is the heaven and hell, that Swarga and Naraka. All these three together we constitute our religious code of morality. When you become spiritual, then you will start asking everything. I said the other day that what is the difference between religion and spirituality? Religion is you have some faith in a concept of a God and you follow some practices depending on that faith. When you start questioning your faith, inquiring about whether God exists or not, if he at all exists, then how is he, how to know him, where to know him. When that inquiry dawns, you are promoted to spirituality. Here, that is what they are showing, that after death, normally we perform the Shraddha Kriyas and all that depending on death. This is based on the concept that the Atma is still there. When the body has fallen, the Atma has gone from here to there. Or it has to go to the Swarga or anywhere. And we follow those rituals without asking, without inquiring into what is it that remains when the body falls. Does anything remain or not? That inquiry has not done. That is why Vajasravash was doing the Yaga Jajna, thinking that when my body falls, I will go to the heaven. And he wanted to have a very good heaven where the luxuries and all, whatever he could have here, he can have more there, and which will not be terminated easily also. As Bhagavad Gita says, that Bhagavad Gita criticizes this karma kanda. Actually, you will find that all the Upanishads also, in some shlokas, it will criticize the karma kanda. But criticism does not mean that it is refuting it and it is throwing it off. It is not like that. The question is that if you get stuck there, then there is a problem. It is meant for a promotion. As yesterday I said that if you say that no, I don't want to get promoted to class 8, I will remain in class 7. It is like that. Similarly, puja, we go on doing puja or whatever rituals we do, never inquiring into it. That means I am satisfied with the class 7 or class 1 and I never want to get promoted. There comes the problem. So in Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter, it is criticizing the Vedas. You know, I am just repeating to point out in this context. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitaha vedabadaratah partha nanyadastiti vadinaha kamatmana swargapara janma karma phalapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishvarya gatim prati bhogaishvarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. He talked about the vyavasayatmika buddhi earlier. So he is saying that vyavasayatmika buddhi means a resolute intelligence which looks for the truth with full resolve. That is called vyavasayatmika. It is not a business buddhi. It is the real business buddhi. It's the real business. In our Baba's kutia, when we enter, over the door there was a big framed statement where it was written that come to a man of business, talk of business, finish your business, leave the man of business to his own business. You come to a man of business, talk of business, finish your business, leave the man of business to his own business. It was written there. Baba said that people come and they go on talking so many things, worldly things and all, so many things. How can I listen to all these things? So I have put it there. He gave me some copies of that. He had got printed a few. So very gladly I took one. He told me that no, don't put it now. This is not for you. Now you have to deal with so many people in the world, so many things you have to do. After that you can put. But you carry it, after that you can put. I have never put it. Because ashram means we have to take everybody. It was an ashram, but it is an individual kutia. So his ashram, the kutia name was Purna Ashrama. It was a Purna Ashrama. So that Vyavasaya is a resolute buddhi. That means very well resolved about the real Vyavasaya, that way. So he said that for such people, that resolute buddhi will not be there. For whom? Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti abhipashchitaha veda vadarata partha nanyad astiti vadinaha. Those who are constantly arguing about the Vedas, the rituals, yaga, yajna, etc. And they say that there is nothing like knowledge or the realization of the soul or anything. The soul goes from here to there in different worlds and finally it gets the moksha through different worlds and all. They have all the Swarga Loka, finally Brahma Loka, and from Brahma Loka it gets liberated. That model is also there. But there is something to pursue in this life called knowledge, and the result of it is Jivan Mukti, that when the body is there, we understand that we are not mortal, we are not bound by anything at all, we are liberated soul. That they don't accept. They say that it's all eulogy. Eulogy means Arthavada, that they are only said for attracting people like that. Say statements like in Kathopanishad it is there, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata Kshurasya Dhara Nishita Duratya Durgam Pathastat Kavayo Vadanti. And arise, awake, and find a teacher, a great teacher. Vara means Shrestha, and inquire from him, know from him till you become doubtless. Why? Because Kshurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya Durgam Pathastat Kavayo Vadanti. Somerset Maugham has taken from here, Razor's Edge. That book called Razor's Edge has been taken from this Kathopanishad, the name. Shurasya dhara nishita. That means a sharpened edge of a razor. The path is like a sharpened edge of a razor. So even to walk on it is difficult. What to speak of crossing it? So that is what the knowers say. It is not to scare people, but to tell them that don't try to walk alone, because you don't know where you will fall. So go to some people who have already crossed. They will take you by hand. They are the merciful people. They will always help you to cross over this razor's edge. So Vedavada Ratah Partha na anyadasti iti vadina. There is nothing called this Jivan Mukti and realization of the self and all. Why? Because they are kamatmanaha. They are given to desireful. Their desires are the main reason. That Swargapara Janma Karma Phalapradam. They are always doing yaga, jajna for attaining Swarga, etc. Because basically their mind is full of desire. Whatever bhoga, whatever enjoyment, indulgence they are getting in this world, they are not happy with it. They want more, and they want that here it is not there. Swarga description is there 100 times more than this. It will never end. You will not get old. You will not have jara. So you go on enjoying. All those things are there. So they look for that. So their purpose in doing yajna, it is guided by their desire. Kamatmanaha, Swargapara, Janma Karma Phalapradam. For them they are always thinking in terms of this janma, that janma, and the result will come here, etc. They take to this model. Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. They are all given to various kinds of activities. Doing this yaga, that yaga. Bhogaishwarya gatim prati. Because basically they are interested in bhoga and aishwarya, in wealth and indulgence, sense indulgence. Now, this is clearly that yamimam pushpitam vacham. Pushpitam vacham means that it is like the palasa pushpa, that the fruit is never seen. It's all flower. They are the pushpitam vacham means flowery language. The Vedas have discussed about the Swarga, Naraka, etc. in very flowery language. They are not meant for the ultimate truth. And they all talk about this because they are interested in the bhoga. They cannot, that is why they do this yaga and jajna and all. So you will find this kind of criticism everywhere. In Mundaka Upanishad, I have already done here, they will say that the various in praiseful term about the jajna and all, but finally, after discussing, he will say that, but mind you, it is the leaky boat. It's a fragile boat. So if you hold on to it, neither you will reach the other shore, nor you will be able to get back here. You will get drowned. So that such criticisms are there in the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, everywhere, so that the mind is taken away from this bhogaishwarya to the ultimate knowledge, to the ultimate path of truth. So you can see here Nachiketa that his mind has already started questioning the model, this threefold model of Punarjanma, Karma and heaven and hell. Now this model is very important to keep the society on the moral track. I said earlier also, suppose, yesterday I have been discussing, suppose we have various questions. Somebody will ask that, why a person is poor and why am I rich? So there is no answer normally. They will say that because that person in the earlier life had done something bad, so he has been born as a poor person, and you had done something good in the last life, so you have been born as rich. But mind you, if you do something wrong now, the next life you will be born as a poor person. And that person, because he is doing very good, he is a good person, next life he will have an enjoyable life. Now, all this, here it is, we are putting the cart before the horse. Actually, a person born in a poor family will be poor. It is such a simple proposition. Where is the question of earlier life there? Any person born in a poor family will be poor because he is born of poor parents until he works and he becomes rich. So he will be poor as born from a poor person. There is no question of earlier life coming in. Similarly, there is no question of later life also, because you cannot prove. When we say that you don't know, that man, people will have always the question that, See, I am very honest, but I am suffering. And that man is very stealthy and he is always doing all the wrong things and he is enjoying. So, what is the point in this? Oh, you don't know. Next life, this mind is going to be punished. He will be fried in hot oil in this naraka or that naraka and all. Now, nobody can prove, nobody can disprove also. But it is necessary to bridle the society, because those who are given to bhoga, unless they are bridled, they will do all harmful activities. At least in the name of this desire fulfillment, they will do some yaga or yajna, where everything is good. By doing, his mindset also will become better, and it ends always with a dana, which I said has got multiple effect. One is his heart becoming larger, other people getting benefited, and the whole economic system coming into more dynamism. So they were all conceived with well thought out plan that how to bridle the society, because by and large nobody will be able to understand the real truth. So the society has to be bridled. So these are models are given with the convenience that nobody can disprove them also, because it is not within the pratyaksha. We have two kinds of knowledge generally. One is called pratyaksha, another is called paroksha. Pratyaksha means which can be directly perceived by the senses, and paroksha means depending on the sense perception you can infer. That is, seeing the smoke you can say there is fire. That's an inference. You might not have gone, you might not, from the dalma you can see the smoke coming up, you will say that there is fire. That's an inference. All scientific discoveries are mostly inference. Nobody has seen an elementary particle, nobody has seen even an electron also. It is something we are seeing from which we are inferring. That is why the inference is changing, with our experiments changing. Earlier we used to think that electron protons are particle, then we thought that they are waves, then we thought of some quantum like that, then finally we think that they are all probability waves. That is nothing to do with the gross structure as we think material to be. So it goes on changing, because they are all models. All these inferences, they are giving us a model which will explain what we are seeing with the perception. Now in this case, about when the body falls, whether anything is there or not, asti or naasti, it is not within the pratyaksha. We cannot see or perceive with our senses. It is nor within the paroksha also. You cannot say anything about that. From where he will take the judgment, where he is going, not going, it cannot be inferred from anything at all. So it is not within the normal methods of knowledge, that pratyaksha and paroksha. The whole thing is based on, the whole jnana kanda or the Upanishads are based on the experiential realization called aparokshanubhuti. It is aparoksha. This word is not there in the Western science. They have only pratyaksha and paroksha. We have something called aparoksha. That means which cannot be perceived by any of the indriyas, and which is not inferred also, but which is a direct non-dual knowledge. Suppose that I am. Do you know from your sense informations that I-ness in us, we are not perceiving with the sense organs? It is not inferred from anything also. I have the resolute feeling that I am. That amness is a full conviction in us which cannot be, even if I prove argument by argument and all, nobody is going to accept that you are not. You will say that no, I am. I know that I am. Similarly, that I have a mind. We are not seeing or with the sense organs or even inferring. It's a direct perception. So truly speaking, this is the aparoksha kind of a perception by which we know the amness in us, that I am there, and also our mind, etc. we come to know directly. Now that direct perception becomes a proof or an argument for inferring that there is something called Atma. Initially it is an inference. So whatever we read in the Shastras, the knowledge of the Atma remains paroksha knowledge. Are you able to follow? I am going into, it's important because people don't understand, often it's not written clearly in the books also. Initially it is a paroksha knowledge. But following the Paroksha knowledge, and whatever I am talking about the Atma, it has to be gone through this is Samadhi, and from Samadhi we have to infer like this. All these are inferences now. It is Paroksha. By constant this cultivation of the Paroksha knowledge, until it becomes Aparoksha, the knowledge is not confirmed. So the Aparoksha Anubhuti of the knowledge, that is the non-dual experience, when there is no sense perception, nothing, no world at all, but the Atma reveals itself. That is the purpose of all the Upanishads, and this Upanishad also will discuss it. So the basis of entire spiritual pursuit is this Aparoksha Anubhuti. That is the first experimental discovery on which the theories and pursuit, everything is based. Unless they had discovered it experimentally, landed on it, we would not have been convinced about who will give such a theory, because it is such a thing. Unless you are convinced about the truth, where from you will get a theory? Theoretical things will not exist, and that would have got lost in no time. It would not have remained for so many thousands of years, unknown period of time. It is only because of the full experiential result of Aparoksha Anubhuti. So Nachiketa knew that there is a knowledge of the truth called knowledge of Atma, and that has to be known undergoing a certain pursuit. That is why he has put the question like this. Here actually the problem is, there is something continuity. Suppose suddenly somebody dies, then naturally he has been thinking, there is some emotion, there are some thoughts, etc. What happens to that? So in the Sukshma part, in the subtle existence, naturally there will be a causality, which the karma says that actually the Atma goes from that body carrying the karma of this and goes to the another body to get fructified. Because any potential energy, suppose we are thinking, doing, etc., that is creating a karma in us. Unless that is dissipated by bhoga, it will have its power. Like that, a strong desire or anything, if it is suddenly cut, what will happen to it? It has to get dissipated, and dissipation, the only way of dissipation is bhoga. Bhoga means that desire will have to be fulfilled somehow in the cosmic sense. Now what happens is that we think that it is one Atma going out of the body and getting into another body. This one-to-one correspondence is the galti. This is the wrong we have. It is not one-to-one correspondence. Suppose in the subtle sense, or first the gross, a son is born of the parents. So the Punarjanma of the gross kind of a Punarjanma is always through the cells. It is a material Punarjanma. That is, the grandfather is being born as the father, father born as the son, son born as the grandson. It is a continuity of the gross Janmantara. Even every moment also, thousands of cells are dying and thousands of cells are getting born. There is causality going on. We are not aware of it, that's all. But this gross causality is continuing, always going on. Now what about the mind? Mind also has got a small part or a part which has come down through this material heredity, because our mindset also partly we have received from our parents, grandparents or grand-grandparents, it is flowing down. But a very large part of the mind comes from the other minds. How? Whatever we read, whatever people we interact with, whatever we listen to, are they not building my mind? Suppose if I feel a full identity with, say, Rabindranath Tagore or Shankaracharya or Vivekananda, that so much identity that I can feel whatever they have said, they have experienced, then can I not say that my mind is Vivekananda reborn? I am an incarnation of Vivekananda. But I am not the alone. Like that, there can be 1,000 people who are feeling that affinity and closeness and identity with Vivekananda's philosophy. They are all, Vivekananda's mind has born in them. Or if I say in the same manner I feel the affinity or identity with Rabindranath, then it is the Rabindranath's mind which has contributed to my mind to a large extent. And in fact, the Manishis, those who are famous people, their body is not so important. Well, Rabindranath we may know, but Shankaracharya, how was the body? Nobody knows. It's an imaginary picture we draw. What we know of Shankaracharya's personality is his compositions, his philosophy, his poems, his compositions. That is what we know. So in our mind, is not Shankaracharya is an embodiment of his philosophy or all the thoughts. And when we are getting those thoughts in full measure in us, is it not, are we not Shankaracharya reborn in the subtle sense? But the wrong is that I am not the one person who is reborn. Every era there could be tens and hundreds of Shankaracharya getting born. Getting born means mind born. That is why in our Guru-Shishya relationship, Shishya is called Manasa Putra. They use also for Priya Shishya, those who are fond disciples, they say that Guru will say that he is my Manasa Putra. That means a real disciple who is growing after the Guru, he is taking the mindset of the Guru, and Guru is trying to put all his thoughts and all his mindset in the disciple. So he becomes the Manasa Putra. Like the bodily Putra, there could be many other Manasa Putra also of the same Guru, like that. It is a multiple assimilation of the Sukshma, in the subtle level, multiple association of various minds, innumerable minds, and over a period of thousands and thousands of years, we cannot measure. All those causalities working in our mind. Are you understanding the karma, how it is working in the subtle sense? Thousands of years ago, these Upanishads have been written. Are they not building up our mind? So that is the causality operating here, in the subtle way. In the gross manner, you can think of that, suppose in the sea, so many waves are there. Whenever a wave comes up, it has got lot of potential energy in it. It will try to get dissipated. In that process, there will be so many waves rising again. One wave falls, there will be so many waves rising. And it is continuing since eternity. When the sea was born, these waves were there. And each wave is related not only to one wave. Suppose past moment there was a wave A, and next second there is wave B. It is not that the wave A has fully become wave B, but the forces operating in wave A has gone to give rise to B, C, D, etc., all the various. And not only that, next generation also. This continuity will be there. Do you understand? So this continuity will be there. There is no one-to-one correspondence here. One-to-one means one wave resulting in another wave. It's not like that. But there is a flow, there is a causality, sometimes gross, sometimes subtle. That subtle part we are not able to see. Even if we explain, most of the people will not be able to understand. That is why these models are given. And no scripture or no Mahatma would try to refute these models. They would only point out the limitation of the model. Even the criticism in Bhagavad Gita or Mundaka Upanishad about the Karmakanda, it is to point out the limitation of this, and they want you to get promoted beyond that by developing enquiry in you. That don't have that kind of a faith that these are all true and that is all, and you will go to the heaven, this will happen. No, it is only because of your desire you are having faith in that. Get over the desire and look for what is the truth. That is what Nachiketa did. He is asking what happens, means with the enquiry, he is coming now. Are you able to follow the whole sequence? So he says that this is my third boon I am asking for. Now Yamaraja is in trouble. You know why? If he finally discloses the truth, it means Yamaraja is not there. He himself will have to vanish from the scene. There is no mrityu. That is what he is saying. Na jayate na mriyate va kadachit. Nayam hanti na hanyate. All death is denounced there. So where is the question of Lord of Death? What will he do? If at all there is a Lord of Death, he has no business. So Yamaraja is in trouble. He is trying to dissuade. Not because he is in trouble, but because this knowledge can be given only after testing the disciple that he is a fit receptacle. Now the hardest test for Nachiketa, slowly he will step up the test. In 3 or 4 verses, he will take to the ultimate level. And then Nachiketa gets a little impatient. So he asks his second question. First question is already there. In the second, he says that I am not interested in what you are saying. I want to know this. The second question he puts in such a manner that Yama cannot refuse. He says, tell me if you know something which is beyond the code of dharma and adharma, which is beyond the causal relationship, cause and effect, which is beyond bhuta bhavya, which is beyond past and future, that means beyond time. If you know anything which is transcending time, causality and the moral code, you tell me only that, I am interested in this. So same Nachiketa here, he simply asked that what happens when the body falls. Then Yamaraja is trying to say so many how a seeker's life to be led, this, that and all. Then he said, no, I am not interested in all these things. So Yamaraja says, 21st verse, Devairatrapi vichikitsitam pura
देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं पुरा
nahi suvijñeyamanurēša dharmah
न हि सुविज्ञेयमनुरेषधर्मः
Devairatrapi vichikitsitam pura
देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं पुरा
nahi suvijñeyamanurēša dharmah
न हि सुविज्ञेयमनुरेषधर्मः
अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व
अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व
मामोपरोत्सीरतिमासृजयिनम्
मामोपरोत्सीरतिमासृजैनम्.
He says, Devaihi atra api vichikitstam pura. From the ancient kala, from the ancient ages, even the Devas are having this doubt, Nachiketa, what you are asking. Devas' doubts have not gone. Devas means the elevated, more elevated people. They are also having the same doubt, and not only now, it has been there since eternity, pura. Nahi suvijñeyam anuhu esha dharmaha. Esha dharmaha anuhu. Anuhu means very subtle. Sukshma. Anu means atom actually. But anuhu in Sanskrit is used for extremely subtle thing. Anuhu esha dharmaha. This truth. Dharmaha means the truth. Actually dharma means the natural truth, the natural law. Law of sustenance basically. The truth means law of sustenance. Nahi suvijñeyam. It is not at all easily understood because it is beyond pratyaksha and paroksha. Both, it is transcending both pratyaksha and paroksha. Pratyaksha and paroksha can be easily either directly perceived pratyaksha, or when it is explained through arguments, through analysis, then paroksha can be understood. But it is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. So it is nahi suvijñeyam anuhu esha dharmaha. Therefore, O Nachiketa, anyam varam vrineshva. You please select some other vara. Ma uparotsihi. Don't request me again and again. Don't trouble me. Ma atisrija. Ma enam atisrija. This is the old language. So, atima srijainam. Actually, the word is atisrija. Ma atisrija. That ati they have put before and srija they have put later. Ma uparotsihi, ma atisrija enam. Don't request me again and again. Please leave me, release me from this question of yours. Leave me from this question. Now, Nachiketa holds on to Yama. Nachiketa is much more brilliant than Yama in a way. So, Devairatrapi vichikitsatam kila.
देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं किल
त्वं च मृत्यो यन्न सुज्ञेयमात्था
त्वं च मृत्यो यन्न सुज्ञेयमात्थ
वक्ता चास्य त्वादृगन्यो न लभ्यो
वक्ता चास्य त्वादृगन्यो न लभ्यो
नान्यो वरस्तुल्य एतस्य कश्चित्
नान्यो वरस्तुल्य एतस्य कश्चित्.
He says, O Mrityu, kila devaihi atrapi vichikitsitam. Tvam Mrityu, tvam yat na sujñeyam atha. Atha means you said. Well, the devas are doubtful about it. Does it not mean that it is all the more important that I should know? You said, you yourself said, Yanna Atha, you have said that it is very difficult to know. So, being a brilliant student, should I not try to know what is difficult to know? And you said even Devas do not know. That is all the more reason that I should try to know. Not only that, Vakta cha asya tvadrik anyah nalabhyaha. Who will tell me about this truth? There is nobody more fit than you about this truth, because you are Yamaraja, you are the custodian of death. How can I get a better teacher or better reply, better person to reply this question? So, Yamaraja, I have nothing else to ask for. There is nothing compared to this boon which I have asked. I am sticking to that. Well, then Yamaraja felt that let us try to allure him with lots of things and material benefits, and it's a small boy, let us see. Even for old people also, initially some question will be there. The moment some other need comes in, they will be satisfied with initially they will come for, I want to become self-realized. Then they will be given in initiation also. Very soon after a little experience this and that, again the world will occupy them and they will be completely lost in the worldly material. The sadhana will be far away from them. So naturally these allurements are necessary to test the Shishya and to pass over also. More and more allurement should come so that we can win over them. And by that our retentivity, our capacity also increases. So the next 3 verses, he goes on giving many things. He said, Shatayusha putra pautran vrinishva. You can ask for children and grandchildren who all will live for 100 years. Although Nachiketa is a small boy, but they are asking. Bahun pashun hasti hiranyam ashwan. You can ask for many cows, elephants, gold and horses. Anything you ask. Not only that, bhumehe mahadayatanam vinishva. A big samrajya, large tract of land where will be your adhipatya. You will be the king of that. That also you can ask. Now, so with so many things, if you die, then there will be problem. You want to enjoy, that is why all these things are given. So you have to live and you have to be fit to enjoy also. If you live but you become a patient, not being able to enjoy anything, then also there is no point. So he says, Swayam cha jiva, sharado yavadicchasi. And you live as long as you want, as long life as you want. Etattulyam yadi manyasevaram.
Etattulyam yadi manyasevaram.
Vrinishvavittam chirajivikam cha.
Vrinishvavittam chirajivikam cha.
Mahabhumau nachiketastvamedhi.
Mahabhumau nachiketastvamedhi.
Kamanam tva kamabhajam karomi.
Kamanam tva kamabhajam karomi.
If you consider that you are not happy with whatever I said, if you consider still higher things, well, you ask for as much of wealth as you want, and chirajivikamcha, to live, whatever materials are necessary for living forever, you ask for that. Mahabhumamu nachiketastvamedhi. You have a still bigger, that is, previously it was bhumer mahadayatanam, now it is Mahabhumamu, emperor. Kamanam tva kama bhajam karumi. Not only that, I will make you fit to enjoy the kamas also. That is, all these things will be there. You will have a long life and long life of fitness so that you can enjoy. You know that yoga all over the world is now practiced. It is for bhoga. Is it not? Why yoga is so famous in USA and Europe and other places? It is only so that they can enjoy the sense enjoyments more. So in a yoga school I once said that there were a lot of foreigner students and all. So I am shy to say, but it is so that although our Shastras have created this yoga for tyaga, that is, yoga means to have the real yoga is to discover our real self, that the small egoistic self should get fused in the real universal self. That is the real yoga. So what we practice as the physical yoga is only a preparation to have that real yoga. First the physical asana, etc. Then pranayama, that is disciplining the breath. First disciplining the gross body. Then disciplining the prana, that is the breath. Prana is related to the breath. Then disciplining the mind. Then disciplining the intelligence, emotional part of our being. Then finally only we can get fused into the real identity. So is it all? It is the tyaga of our clinging, ragadvesha. Unless we do tyaga for the ragadvesha, cling to what I like and hate what I dislike, this yoga cannot be had. So I explained that this is the real yoga and said that, but here this yoga means the renunciation of the clinging to our material enjoyments and hating what we do not like. So it is tyaga. But all of you have come for learning and teaching yoga only to increase your bhoga. When you come to know the real yoga, you will not like to learn anymore. Later on they will, initial when the bhoga part is over, then they will take to the other things also. Many of them do take to, that is very true. They are very sincere pursuers of knowledge are there. So kamanam tva kamabhajam karomi. He finds that Nachiketa is still not swayed by all these things. So now he takes a next step of allurement. What is that? Committing that I will give you 1 crore of rupees or 1 lakh of rupees. When that does not help, you bring 1 lakh rupees and hand it over, see whether he now gets shaken or not. So everybody has a certain measure in that. So Yamaraja is now trying. He says that all the language changes here. That language changes. That here is the chariot, here are the musicians and all the dance users. You have them, they will all do your seva. You live as long as you live, like that. Ye ye kama durlabha matyaloke.
ये कामा दुर्लभा मर्त्यलोके
Sarvan kamanschandatah prarthayasva.
सर्वान् कामांश्छन्दतः प्रार्थयस्व
Ima rama saratha saturya.
इमा रामाः सरथाः सतूर्या
Nahi drisha lambhaniya manushyaih.
न हि दृशा लम्भनीया मनुष्यैः
Abhirmat pratabhih
आभिर्मत्प्रताभिः
paricharayasva.
परिचारयस्व
Nachiketo maranam manuprakshihi.
नचिकेतो मरणं मानुप्राक्षीः
Ye ye kama durlabha matyaloke.
ये कामा दुर्लभा मर्त्यलोके
Sarvan kamanschandatah prarthayasva.
सर्वान् कामांश्छन्दतः प्रार्थयस्व
Ima rama saratha saturya.
इमा रामाः सरथाः सतूर्या
Nahi drisha lambhaniya manushyaih.
न हि दृशा लम्भनीया मनुष्यैः
Abhirmat pratabhih paricharayasva.
आभिर्मत्प्रताभिः परिचारयस्व
Nachiketo maranam manuprakshihi.
नचिकेतो मरणं मानुप्राक्षीः
That is, oh Nachiketa, do not ask me this question about death anymore. That is the last line. Nachiketa, please do not ask anymore your question about death. You take what? Ye ye kama durlabha matyaloke. Now he has started bringing in materials from the heaven. That in the matyaloka none of these are available. This kind of sarvan kaman chandatah prarthayasva. If you can imagine more enjoyable anything than what I am bringing, you think of it, it will come before you. Chandatah means whatever you wish will happen. That means if you are not satisfied with this, you ask for, you think of it, it will come, arrive. Like Kalpavriksha, it will arrive. Ima Ramaha, all these ladies, who will please you. Saratha, they have come with chariot, diamond-studded chariot and all, with the music instruments, saturya, all kinds of vadyas. All those things, they will please you, they will do your seva. Nahi idrisha lambhaniya manushyehi. No human being on earth can get any of these. It is all not available on this earth. I am giving you all these things. Abhir mat prattabhihi paricharayasva. They are all sent by me. You use them for your seva, for serving you. Nachiketo maranam ma anuprakshihi. But please keep me away from your question about the death. Don't ask me anymore. Yama is finding that Nachiketa cannot be swayed at all. Nachiketa finds that what is he testing? I have already overcome all these things. One after another he is giving. He is not leaving me. So now he starts telling Yamaraja. So it is almost a great sermon given by Nachiketa to Yamaraja. The next verse is extremely important. Next two verses. शोभावामर्त्यस्य यदन्तकैतत्
शोभावामर्त्यस्य यदन्तकैतत्
सर्वेन्द्रियाणां जरयन्ति तेजः
सर्वेन्द्रियाणां जरयन्ति तेजः
अपि सर्वं जीवितमल्पमेव
अपि सर्वं जीवितमल्पमेव
तवैव वाहास्तव नृत्यगीते
तवैव वाहास्तव नृत्यगीते.
Shvobhava means Shvaha Abhava. Abhavaha. Shvaha means tomorrow. And Abhavaha means will not be there. That means whatever you have given, they are all fragile, they are all futile. Nothing will remain. Any material or any created item will die. Anything created, that will die. So whatever you are giving, they are all Shvaha Abhava. Tomorrow they will not be there. Tomorrow means someday it will not be there. This Ashwatha Vriksha is called Ashwatha, means Ashwatha. Tha means Tishtati Tha, means which will be there. Ashwatha means which will not be there tomorrow. Now because Ashwatha is the longest living tree on planet, thousands of years it can live. So the name is given as Ashwatha. Don't get deluded by such long life. Even Ashwatha also will die one day. See our culture. Ashwatha name is given because the longest living tree also is going to die. Never get deluded. Samsara, samyak saratiti samsara, which is based on drifting. Unless changefulness is there, there cannot be any creation. So whatever is our worldliness, worldly creation, it is the fundamental basis of this is drift. It is drifting. That is why it is appearing to be existing before us. So if you hold on to anything drifting, they will delude you. One day they will leave. Either they leave or you leave. Either way, it will go. So he says that, oh Antaka, Antaka means Yamaraja, who is the ultimate destroyer. Matyasya etat shvaha abhavaha. Whatever you have given, this dance uses, chariots, that kingdom, everything is, all are perishable. They will not stay forever. Not only that, matyasya sarvendriyanam tejaha jarayanti. Whatever indulgence you have given, whatever items of indulgence you have given, by doing more and more bhoga, our all indriyas are getting depleted. That is why every night we need a deep sleep when the indriyas are not active. I said the other day also that in the dream sleep you don't get relief. The tiredness is if the whole night if you only dream, you will feel very tired as if you have not slept. Because although the outer sense organs are not working asleep, but the inner organs, you are still having the visions and sound and everything in dream. So the real indriyas, the subtle indriyas are fully operative in the dream world also, although the physical gross indriyas are not operating. So that will not give you the relief. Either you have to go into deep sleep to get relief, or you have to go into meditation where no thoughts, nothing will be there to get relief. Both will relieve you. Because at that point they are not acting. The inner indriyas also are silent. So the indriyas have to be regenerated every time by getting back to the lap of soul. When we are in deep sleep, we are in the lap of soul actually. The external world is not there. I have forgotten even about our personality also. Nothing is there. No signal is there. So that is the time we are in the lap of the soul. But because all the faculties are sleeping, we cannot remember, we cannot know that it is so. Remembrance will be there in the memory, but we will not know at that time what is happening. In Samadhi, it is only that much of difference that all the things are wakeful, they are not sleeping, but they are equally in non-acting. That is why we come to know. It is a deep sleep. Deep sleep is a same as Samadhi, but without the knowledge of it. That's all. So we need this going back to the lap of soul to get all our indriyas replenished. Without that, you will not be able to work the next day. The faculties will not work. So this bhoga is always, the indriya bhoga is always, they are always depleting our indriyas. Is it not? They are depleting our sense organs. That is why we gain lot of mental power by meditation. If you do a proper meditation for 1 hour a day, in the institution or in the office or at home, you can finish the work which you are doing in 8 hours, you can finish in 4 hours or 5 hours. So much the efficiency will grow. Because the whole being becomes integrated, restful. So with that, whatever we do, we will find that many things we unnecessarily do need not be done. So if the mind, the body, personality remains integrated, you will find that things are falling in their place automatically, or things are done in a very harmonious manner. You will never come to know that the things have been done. Api sarvam jivitam alpameva. Oh Yamaraja, you have given me life for 1,000 years and as long as you would like to live. But please know that any lifetime, be it 10 years or 10,000 years, it is insufficient for everybody. Sarvam, for everybody it is insufficient. Why? वो 10,000 जो भोग के लिए जी रहे हैं, वो 10,000 साल के बाद भी जीना चाहेंगे, और भी भोग चाहेंगे? नहीं चाहेंगे. 50 साल होने से भी और भी भोग चाहेंगे, 100 साल होने से भी और भी भोग चाहेंगे. जब तक उनका डिज़ायर न ख़त्म होता, जब उनको समझ में आ जाता कि ये भोग के द्वारा कभी हमारा डिज़ायर ख़त्म नहीं होने वाला है, तभी वो उसका लाइफ, वॉट एवर द स्पैन, इट विल बिकम सफिशिएंट. अदरवाइज इट इज़ इनसफिशिएंट. It does not sufficiency or insufficiency does not depend on the lifespan. It depends on our knowledge, the removal of the ignorance, becoming desirelessness, understanding the redundancy of the desire. Otherwise, however long, and you are giving me all these enjoyable objects, you भोग करो भोग करो, हम 10,000 साल भोग करेंगे फिर भी और भी भोगना चाहेंगे, उसमें क्या, वो 10,000 will not be sufficient for me. See the words they have used. Api sarvam jivitam alpameva. It is the insufficient. If you go into it, you will find that it is the insufficiency that is the trouble we are born with, and that is causing all the bondage. Why do we always look for joy? That whatever we do, suppose you are earning money, with that you will make this, make that, then ultimately what is this? By doing this, I will become happy. Is it not so? Whatever we do, the ultimate product we are looking for is happiness. So is it not that there is an insufficiency, our mind is not full, so we are always looking for something which will make me happy. So even in meditation also, when we do and we get a touch of bliss from inside, again we are, from the world, we are getting caught in the inner world. Oh, Anand mila hai, Anand mila hai. That means you are still missing Anand. There is an insufficiency for enjoying Ananda. So that also is called Ananda Bhuk state. That is, you are looking always for Ananda and enjoying Ananda. That is the hindrance, last hindrance. Unless you are able to get over that tendency to have the joy, you will not be able to attain the truth. Because still you are making yourself small, you are looking for something else to fill you. But truly the joy is the parameter of the soul itself. When you don't look for anything, you will find that that is the real joy of the soul. You will not look for anything at all. So this insufficiency is extremely important. So whatever be the lifespan, this insufficiency is not going to go unless you remove the ignorance or remove the desires. It will not go, oh Yamaraja. This is Nachiketa telling Yamaraja, mind you, not Yamaraja telling Nachiketa. Shobhavamartyasya yadantakaitat
शोभावामर्त्यस्य यदन्तकैतत्
सर्वेन्द्रियाणां जरयन्ति तेजः
सर्वेन्द्रियाणां जरयन्ति तेजः
अपि सर्वं जीवितमल्पमेव
अपि सर्वं जीवितमल्पमेव
तवैव वाहास्तव नृत्यगीते
तवैव वाहास्तव नृत्यगीते.
Therefore, O Yamaraja, all these chariots, all this dance and music, let them be with you, O Yamaraja. Nachiketa is not interested in them. Tavaiva Vaha. Vaha means the Vahanas, the chariots and all. Tava Nritya Gita. Let them all be with you. You enjoy, O Yamaraja. I am not interested in them. Tavaiva Vaha Stava Nritya Gita. Na vittena tarpaniyo manushyo
न वित्तेन तर्पणीयो मनुष्यो
लप्स्यामहे वित्तं
लप्स्यामहे वित्तम्
अद्राक्ष्मचेत्वा
अद्राक्ष्मचेत्वा
लप्स्यामहे वित्तम् अद्राक्ष्मचेत्वा
लप्स्यामहे वित्तमद्राक्ष्मचेत्वा
जीविष्यामो यावदीशिष्यसि त्वं
जीविष्यामो यावदीशिष्यसि त्वं
जीविष्यामो यावदीशिष्यसि त्वं
जीविष्यामो यावदीशिष्यसि त्वं
वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एव
वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एव.
न वित्तेन तर्पणीयो मनुष्यो. Man can never be satiated with wealth. See, it's a statement of Nachiketa, it's often quoted. Na vittena tarpaniyo manushyo. Man can never satisfied by wealth. We have other statements also in Kaivalya Upanishad also, na? Kaivalya Upanishad. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagenaike amritatvamanashuhu परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यतयो विशन्ति. He says, na karmana, by doing anything, any karma. Na prajaya, by having progeny and people around. Dhanena, by any amount of wealth. Amritatvam na anashuhu. It cannot be had. Tyagena eke amritatvam anashuhu. By tyaga only some people, eke means some. By tyaga only some had attained immortality. Man can never be satiated by karma. The amritatva cannot be had by karma, any amount of work, jaga, yajna, whatever. Not by praja, in progeny as well as other people. Dhanena, not by wealth. By renunciation, tyaga, some have attained amritatvam. Amritatvam anashuhu, some have attained amritatvam. It's a statement of fact. Parena nakam nihitam guhayam vibhrajate yat yatayo vishanti. That brilliant truth which is shining in the cavern of the heart or cavern of the guha, surpassing the greatest heaven, where the pure-minded people reach or attain. That means they are saying that all this which the Karmakanda is looking for, even the Parenanakam, the supreme heaven, the best of the heaven also, transcending that is the brilliance, the luminescence which can be attained by the pure-minded soul. So, na vittena tarpaniyo manushya. This is what I chanted is from Kaivalya Upanishad of Atharva Veda, I think. Na vittena tarpaniyo manusho. Lapsyamahe vittam adrakshma chetva. See, again Nachiketa's that childish intelligence has come. Not childish, childlike. Not childlike, he is a child. That innocent intelligence. He said that Lapsyamahe vittam adrakshma chetva. When I have seen you, O Yamaraja, definitely I will have all the wealth. Yamaraja is such a king and he has already pleased him, he is offering this, that and all. So is he going to deprive him of wealth? So we will definitely have wealth, Yamaraja, when I have seen you and I have pleased you. Jivishyamo yavad ishishyasitvam. As long as you live, I will also live. As long as Yama's rule is there, he is not going to kill Nachiketa. He is pleased with him. So these are all already granted, Yamaraja. I am not asking for them. Why are you saying that you take this, you take that? Since I have come to you and I have pleased you, these are all granted. Varastu me varaniya saeva. Please give me the boon that I have asked for. That I consider to be the best to be asked. Ajiryatam amritanam upetya.
Ajiryatam amritanamupetya.
Ajiryatam amritanam upetya.
Ajiryatam amritanamupetya.
Jiryan matyah kvadhastha prajanan.
Jiryan martyah kvatastha prajanan.
Ajiryatam amritanam upetya.
Ajiryatam amritanamupetya.
Jiryan matyah kvadhastha prajanan.
Jiryan martyah kvatastha prajanan.
Abhidhyayan varnarati pramodan.
Abhidhyayan varnarati pramodan.
Atidirghe jivite ko rameta.
Atidirghe jivite ko rameta.
He says, Ajiryatam amritanam upetya jiryan matyah kvadhastha prajanan. Kvadhastha means ku adhastha. That means who is below the Duloka, below the sky and over the Prithvi. Kvadhastha means those who are on the Prithvi. But there is a neglect shown in calling it Kvadhastha, those who are on the earth, earthly people. Prajanan, earthly person, but who has known the goal of life. Who has known that there is something transcendental goal of life which is supreme. Iha ched avedit atha satyamasti na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Our Upanishad says, Iha ched avedit atha satyamasti. If you know this truth here itself in this body on this earth, then the life becomes truthful. Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. If you are not able to know in this life here itself, then colossal is the loss. So all these statements Nachiketa knew. So he says the person who knows the goal of life, he is always the human beings, Matyaha, they are mortal and they are surrounded by Jara also, decay. We are all decaying people, surrounded by Jara and Marana. Such persons, knowing the goal of life, that transcendental Amaratva, goal of life, when he comes to a person who is Ajiryatam Amritanam Upetya, that means who is beyond the decay and beyond mortality. Yamaraja is beyond decay and beyond mortality. So a person has come from this earth where everybody is mortal and decaying, but he knows that there is a goal which is transcending this mortality. Will he ask from him anything of the perishable world is his question. Ajiryatam amritanam upetya. Going to a saint who has attained, if you believe that he has attained this immortality, will you ask from the ultimate truth or you will ask from chela beta ka shadi ho jaye aur beta ka nakri ho jaye ya beti ke bahu ke sath jhagda na ho jaye? Will you ask all these things from him? Or you will ask, a real seeker will not bother about this. Whatever things are not all right, he will accept it. It is all given by the God. Everything that is there, if I have faith in God, it is given by God. I should be able to accept whatever happens to me. So he will only be interested in truth. That is what Nachiketa is saying. This is Nachiketa's statement. He is criticizing Yamaraja that why are you asking all these things? I may belong to this mortal earth, I may be Matya, I may be mortal, I may be decaying human being, but I know that there is a goal which is transcending the Atimrityumeti, Nanyah Pantha Vidyate Ayana. Shweta Shvatarai chanted the other day. So I know that there is a goal. Knowing that, will I ask from you all these perishable items which you are offering me? Abhidhyayan Varna Rati Pramodan. Varna means that colorful world. Rati means full of all kinds of enjoyments, indulgences. Pramoda also means various kinds of merrymaking and all. Abhidhyayan means studying very well that all these things is not going to fulfill anybody forever. They are all temporary and they are not going to fulfill. By enjoying and enjoying, we will not become fulfilled. It is never going to give us fulfillment. Abhidhyayan varna rati pramodan atidirghe jivite ko rameta. Who would like to indulge in a very long life? Long life for what? For enjoying more. By enjoying more, I am not going to have a better fulfillment. I want to become fulfilled. So I will not ask for a long life. I will ask for a knowledge which will make me fulfilled. I want to become fulfilled so that I don't have to look for anything at all. So coming to a person knowing that he is beyond the decaying, who has transcended decay and death, who is immortal, undecaying. From such a person, knowing that this kind of a goal is there in human life, will anybody ask for all these things? And a long life also. Understood? Then the last verse of this chapter. Yasminnidam vichikitsanti mrityo
Yasminnidam vichikitsanti mrityo
Yat samparaye mahati bruhinastat
Yat samparaye mahati bruhinastat
Yoyam varo gudhamanupravishto
Yoyam varo gudhamanupravishto
Nanyam tasman nachiketa vrinite
Nanyam tasman nachiketa vrinite
Yasminnidam vichikitsanti mrityo
Yasminnidam vichikitsanti mrityo
Yat samparaye mahati bruhinastat
Yat samparaye mahati bruhinastat
Yoyam varo gudhamanupravishto
Yoyam varo gudhamanupravishto
Nanyam tasman nachiketa vrinite
Nanyam tasman nachiketa vrinite
O Mrityu, O Yamaraja, about this Samparaya. Samparaya means this transcendental truth. It means other world also. That is when the body falls, what happens. Samparaya means that. Samparaya also means the transcendental truth. That is the transcendent, which is beyond the Pratyaksha and Paroksha. That is the idea. In detail, it means beyond Pratyaksha and Paroksha, the transcendental. About which all the people here as well as Devas, they are all doubtful. Vichikitsanti means all are having doubts. That great truth, about that great truth, please tell me, Bruhina Tat, that you tell me about that great truth. Mahati Samparaya. I know that this Vara is Gudhamanupravishtaha. It has to be known by going very deep into it. It is not easily available. Just you tell me and I know. I know that it is not that kind of a simple truth. I have to put my effort. I have to go deep. I have to renounce everything or whatever to go into it. I know that. Knowing that, I say that Nachiketa does not want any other Vara than this. Other than this, Nachiketa does not want anything else. So this concludes this chapter. It is the end of the test of Nachiketa. Now Yamaraja is satisfied that Nachiketa has passed his test, But he still is not starting his discourse on truth. He goes on telling in the next chapter about how a seeker's life should be, a seeker of Shreyas, and how he has to choose between the Shreyas and Preyas offered by the world. What about who knows this truth and how many people can know this truth, etc. All those things he will say. And what to follow, whom to follow, he will say. Finally, Nachiketa will become impatient and ask his second questions, that is, Anyatra dharmad, anyatra adharmad, anyatra asmat krita kritat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha, yattat pashyasi tadvada. When he says that I want to know if you know anything beyond the moral codes of good and bad, beyond the time and beyond causality. But tomorrow I will take up that Shreyas and Preyas. It's a very good analysis for anybody who would like to live an auspicious life. This analysis we will take up tomorrow. One question I can answer, 5 minutes are there. We understand that sadhana chatushtaya are the prerequisite qualities for a seeker. As I had discussed on the first day or second day, that who is fit for this Brahma Vidya? That is not governed by whether they have done enough of Yaga Jajna or not done. That is not the point. Whether he has enough of sadhana chatushtaya, that Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadamadi, Shadga Sampatti and Mumuksha. The question is, are these qualities not the ultimate attainment also? These are requisite qualities. The question is, are these qualities not the ultimate attainment also? Yes, they are. Any quality, as I said, that the 20 qualities in 13th chapter also, Amanitvam, Adammitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantirarjavam, everything you can take to this highest level where it becomes Atma and nothing else. It becomes the attainment. It is not attainment, actually unfoldment. Spiritual, the self-realization we say, it is not really attainment, it is unfoldment. It's a sahaja process of unfolding of the truth. So why? Because everything, suppose Viveka. What is Viveka? Viveka is discriminating between Nitya and Anitya, that is permanent and impermanent, or Atma and Anatma, or the ultimate truth, the conscious and the inert. So by that Viveka, where are we reaching? The ultimate? We are reaching the Nitya, the ultimate truth, the Atma, whatever you may say. So although the quality is the discrimination between what is permanent and what is decaying, what is changeful, what is unchangeful, with that we are proceeding. But where we are reaching is the Atma only, because that is the Nitya we are talking about. Final Nitya or Atma or Chit Jadak Granthi, we say Chit, ultimately that is the Chit. But there is another subtle thing here. All these analysis, when we go, it is a comparison of the two, Nitya and Anitya, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, Chit and Jada. Like that we are comparing and going. In the final, after reaching the top, we have to transcend that duality and go to the transcendental truth from which both have come. Nitya and Anitya both are coming out of the supreme truth, which is inexpressible. Neti, Neti, I said yesterday, which cannot be identified. So our Swamiji gives an example that you are chiseling a pencil, making it sharp, the lead. The last point of sharpness, your knife is going beyond the lead. If you stop at that point, then the maximum sharpening will not be there. Last it has to go, just cross that lead and go beyond. Like that, in all this analysis, when we reach the peak, we have to finally leave that and go to the transcendental level from where both have come. So even coming to know the Nirguna Brahman in Samadhi, and then comparing the world as a prakasha of that, this is not enough. We have to reach from there the transcendental level from where both of them have come. Kshara, Akshara, both have come. In 15th chapter, Purushottama is beyond Kshara and Akshara. Everywhere, Kshara and Akshara, they constitute a duality. We have to go over to the non-dual position which is transcending Kshara and Akshara. That is called the Purushottama. We are giving the name Purushottama there. So like that Vairagya, if you consider, Vairagya is the not getting affected, touched by anything, untaintedness. If you go to that peak of it, Atma is this. What is Atma? Whatever is done, good, bad, destruction, creation, the Atma never gets affected by anything at all. It only sees whatever is happening. Sees means it is supports. It supports whatever happens. But it never gets tarnished or changed or tainted by that at all. So the real Vairagya actually means the Atma. So more and more Vairagya we cultivate, we are actually reaching Atma. That is why I am saying it is not an attainment. More Vairagya means you are coming closer to the Atma. More unaffectedness means you are coming closer to the Atma. More universal embracing means you are coming closer to the Atma. Do you understand? There is no limit also. You can go to any level. It is actually a process of unfoldment. It is not an attainment that उस दिन हो गया हम realize बन गए, ऐसा नहीं है. So any quality you take like that, Shama, Dama, Titiksha, everything you can lead to the ultimate level. It means the ultimate self-realization only. So Sadhana Chatushtaya, when we say, we mean that one who is putting his Paurusha, putting his self-effort to acquire this Sadhana Chatushtaya, not that he has already attained the peak. At least to some extent he has, and he is wanting that to acquire more and more, cultivate, imbibe more and more of these fourfold qualities, fourfold pursuit. So he is having enough sadhana chatushtaya. And as he pursues, it grows. Finally it becomes the self. Is it clear?